At least for the February start. Right, the first March is March 5th, same weekend as the Miami Open.
All right, everyone. Welcome to National Signing Day 2022. We're going to start with a opening statement from Coach Cristobal. Then we'll go into questions from our media members. If you could please remember, state your name and affiliation, and also just wait for a microphone. You can signal to myself or Josh, who's on the other side. Coach,
all right. First of all, thank you for being here again today. National Signing Day has almost become like a season within itself, right? The amount of excitement that surrounds it, because it's always about the future. But thank you for being here. The first thing I want to do, I want to thank a lot of people that are behind the scenes that never get any mention at all. And in a short amount of time, we were able to have a very successful class and close the gap to where we want to be from a roster standpoint. So I want to thank the recruiting staff, all right, personnel staff, QCs, GAs, administrative assistants, people in the equipment room, people that are the caterers, facilities workers, staff trainers, cleaning crew, because those guys, those ladies and gentlemen are here early, they stay late, they do so much for us. Academic staff, the strength staff, nutrition, okay, they play a heavy hand in what we do, and I want to state my appreciation for them before we go into any of this stuff, and also most importantly our fan base, because they create the right kind of positivity and energy. And that drives recruiting a bunch now, okay, your fan base, what you have behind, and ours really came strong, and they let themselves be known and felt on social media, and it was a difference maker for us, so we ask that we keep that going, keep bringing that, okay. Now that being said, as we pop into and talk about today's events, the first thing I want to mention are two guys that we never got to talk about last time we spoke as it relates to signing day, and that's the additions post early signing day of Cyrus Moss and Jaleel Skinner, two of the top players in the country respectively at their positions, probably the top players in the country at their respective positions. Cyrus is an outside linebacker from Las Vegas, Nevada, Bishop Gorman High School, probably the 30th player overall in the country, 6'6", 215 pounds. He is here now, okay, so he's training with our team. Dynamic edge rusher, dynamic athlete at 6'6". You'll see him pop out at different events playing corner. covering receivers, rushing the passer, but also taking on block setting edges, and we need edge defenders. So a big pickup for us there. Tremendous human being, awesome family. Absolutely thrilled that he is here with us. Came across the country to be part of this. And of course, you guys know about Jaleel Skinner. Jaleel is also on campus. These guys, they almost look like twin towers, man, like 6'5", 6'6", 222 pounds. He's been in the program now, training for a couple of weeks. He did play at the Polynesian Bowl along with Cyrus. Those guys missed the first All-Star game due to minor health stuff, but played out there in the Poly Bowl. They're both here now. They're both eating, going to class, studying, working out, training, getting to know the guys, being part of the culture. The best tight end in the country was able to, we were able to get him on board after just a very strenuous recruiting process and a late decommitment by him to get on board with us. So certainly a guy that we needed. Dynamic playmaker, can go and split out, be attached, line up as a sniffer, line up in the backfield, block the C gap, knock you back, jump over you, catch the ball. Two really dynamic guys. So really fired up about those guys. So those, again, were part of the first cycle, but we never got to announce them due to the fact that they signed after the signing day press conference. And today, a couple guys. We'll start locally with Ahmad Moten, 3 technique. Can't find enough of those. 6'3", 322 pounds. Brother played here, legacy. So this was a guy that I was really trying to get at the other place I was at, and I thought I had him, so I had to come all the way across the country to get him on board. So it's a good thing. Awesome family, explosive player, lots of twitch. Can do it in the run game, do it in the pass game, can take on double teams, knock you back, set an edge. 3 techniques, so he's inside, but he also has played outside in some of their pass rush schemes. Very versatile athlete, big jumbo athlete. Guy can run around, make a lot of plays. Impressive guy, one of the best D tackles in the country. And another guy that had just about, most of the Power 5 offers around the nation and decided to stay home and make it a statement to let it be known that the backyard is important, okay? And I made it also known, since I am a little brother that played with an older brother, that we recruited him independently of his older brother. That was very important to him. Again, awesome family. Thrilled that he is here. Also joining us, I got to wait for, I guess, one announcement, so I'll jump into the state of Alabama. Inez Cooper, one of the largest human beings you'll ever see in your life. Hopefully you'll get a chance to see him on campus soon. Inez, defensive tackle, offensive lineman, offensive guard, precisely. 6'6" and a quarter, about 364, a true dynamic jumbo athlete, okay? Can line up at nose, can line up at 3 technique, and take over a game up front, can also play guard and tackle. Really worked hard. A guy that was 400 pounds and worked really hard through his trainers, through his coaches, to get down to 350, 360 pounds. Can move, jump, run, basketball player as well. All these guys are dual sport guys. But Inez is another guy living there in an SEC country and being sought after by some of the schools that were after him, coached by 2 unbelievable coaches over there at Pleasant Grove in Alabama. Some real personal ties over there. Grateful to have the opportunity to recruit him. Again, really thrilled to have him here to add to the line of scrimmage. That was a big point of emphasis. Just got the thumbs up so we can announce Matthew McCoy just signed with us over at Creekside, up there in the Jacksonville area. Another, 4-star basketball, football athlete, 6'6" on our measurement, 292 pounds, enormous wingspan, athletic, great balance and body control, plays with power, very new at football, has a brother that plays at Minnesota. Became a priority once we got here and watched film on him. Length, power, agility on the edges, gonna be a great offensive tackle for us. Actually played some tight end before, but he'll never play that again. He's now an offensive lineman, but I told him that too, so he won't take it personally when he hears it on this video. So, and then, everybody was talking about Trevante Citizen, okay, from Lake Charles college prep in Louisiana. What can you say? 6'1", 215, 220 pounds. Every down back, can run through you, can run around you, can get the ball out of the backfield, can line up outside as a receiver. Explosive power, hard to tackle guy. Can run the ball outside, good counter runner, power runner, inside zone, outside zone, pin and pull. I mean, this guy, he does it all and was a a guy that we really, really needed, as well as these other guys, but just a very different type of back right there in the middle of Louisiana. And credit to our staff and everybody working really hard to get this guy on board. You guys have seen the film, okay, and you'll see plenty more of him. Huge day to get him and the rest of these guys on board, okay. I want to mention, because even though it is signing day, the guys that are on campus right now, Wesley Basaint is on campus and training. So is Ja'Curry Brown, Nigel Kelly, Cyrus Moss, Kamari Rogers, and Jaleel Skinner are all on campus. Joining them are the guys that we have picked up off of the transfer portal. We'll start with Antonio Moultrie. We have him at 6'4", 275 pounds, played defensive end and tackle. He's playing tackle here for us at Miami. Joined us over from UAB. He is on campus right now. Frank Ladson, product of South Dade High School, 6'3", 205 pounds. And let me go back, I'm sorry. Moultrie has 1 year left. Frank Ladson with 2 years of eligibility left, who had 31 catches, 400-plus yards at Clemson. Joins us as well, was a tremendous prospect coming out of high school, had some good moments at Clemson. We're delighted to have him here. We need help at the wide receiver position, and he's a guy we're excited about. Henry Parrish went to my high school, Christopher Columbus High School, 2 years over there at Ole Miss, 1,000 all-purpose yards, 5'10", 190 pounds, 195, soaking wet, okay, but tough, physical runner, a guy that I watched from afar. We couldn't get him at the other place I was at, so fired up to have him here with us at the University of Miami. Fourth one, Jake Lichtenstein, played against him actually when it was at the other place, and he was a starter at USC at defensive line, defensive tackle, and defensive end. Big guy, 6'6", 280 pounds. He had 43 tackles, 8 for loss, and I believe 4 sacks this past season. Really good football player. Recruited him at the University of Alabama when I was there before he went to USC. Plays strong, stout, explosive power, quick twitch, athletic ability, good pass rusher. Going to be a great player for us here. Great family. And then just most recently, Logan Sagapulo, who joined us as well from the University of Oregon. Logan's about 6'2", 344. If you have time, check out his little webpage where he squats 700 pounds barefoot. Was injured during training camp, was starting to take reps as a co-starter before he injured his tricep. Had a minor procedure done. He's fully healthy now. He's here training with the team. So all in all, what you're looking at is a roster influx of about 19 players to date. We still have room to sign, I don't know, a good chunk more. But that's where we are at the end of the second signing period. So I wanted you to have that information before opening up to questions.
Everyone, if you have a question, please, a reminder, wait for a microphone, and we'll start with Tom D'Angelo.
Hi, Mario. Tom D'Angelo from the Palm Beach Post. First of all, do you expect any more today?
Today?
Yes.
I don't know. I think announcing McCoy, I mean, you never know. There could be a surprise. We might come across something, because you keep working it, and you're not sure exactly if everybody truly signs their allotment. There might be a guy you could have been on but thought was going somewhere else, and so, but nothing expected. But if something pops up, don't be upset with me later. It always happens.
Considering where you were when you walked in the building, and the work you had to do to get just the high school kids, not forget even the transfers. Right. How pleased are you with what you've been able to come with? I mean, you look at all the rankings and how you shot up the rankings, and you mentioned that. I mean,
Sure.
that took a lot of hard work, and how pleased are you with that?
Well, I'm thankful to the staff. We had a good day. We had a good day. We've set really high standards for ourselves. We've gotten used to knocking out consecutive top 10 classes and in difficult situations. So the fact that we're not done yet is exciting. The fact that we closed the gap like we did is good, and never satisfied about that. But it shows you again the caliber and the power of the University of Miami. If you work at it, if you grind at it, a lot of needs were addressed, and there's still a couple more positions that we feel really good about from a portal standpoint, from availability standpoint, through the junior colleges and whatnot, there's still a couple pieces out there that are available as we continue to assess this roster. But it's constant assessment time. We got to assess the roster. We got to see where we're at, where guys, and when we expect guys back from injury. Just like around the clock program assessment. We got to continue to assess positions, right? Personnel, in our staff and whatnot. A lot of people have worked hard. A lot of people are, trying to figure out exactly how we're going to put all this stuff together. So all in all, just pleased with effort, pleased with progress, but truly never satisfied until, you get to the big one.
Coach, David Lake with Inside the U. Last time you were talking to us, you mentioned line of scrimmage positions was a key need from that point. You've added a bunch since then at those spots. Are you pleased with that haul overall? Do you feel like there's still more room to add players in the future via portal, et cetera, et cetera?
Absolutely. At the line of scrimmage, it's always, we're always going to make sure that we're addressing those areas, and not only addressing the areas, but trying to elevate them. You want to be elite at those positions. You want to play with, I know I sound like a broken record about explosive power, but, truly, you want to control the line of scrimmage. And to do so, it's got to look a certain way. You got to train a certain way, right? And the only way to get the best out of those guys is to create competition and bring in really, really good football players that are really about physicality and are tough-minded guys. So we've improved that. There's some really good pieces on here, and guys on the edge like Nigel Leak and Cyrus Moss. They're young, but they're joining a good group of edge guys that we're counting on. All these guys have got to step up. We've got to have a great offseason in the weight room, and that's the part that I probably should have commented on. These first 2 weeks of strength and conditioning have been really, really good, okay, because it's a very demanding program. I mean, it'll work you right to the brink, and the response has been excellent, and it has added strength to what we're building culture-wise. Now, we got a ways to go, but when you add pieces like this, you get them here early, you could put them down there, start eating like we're supposed to eat, taking care of your body like you're supposed to, go to class like you're supposed to, then, things start looking like they're supposed to look. So we'll be out there next week with them as we begin the fourth quarter program, so we'll have a pretty good idea of, again, how we truly move, how we fit, what kind of power we have coming out of our hips. So, but yes, the offensive and defensive lines, we have made more progress towards depth and talent.
Hey, Coach. Mike Cunha, CBS 4. How much did not having a completed staff affect this cycle for you guys? And is there any updates as far as the coaching staff's concerned?
Oh, I don't think it does. At the end of the day, it's going to be the philosophy of the head coach. I mean, I think a great thing, because the media always speculates, and I respect that. I don't judge. Some of the things you all speculate, wow, pretty creative, man. I think this. I think if you took, for example, a corners coach around the country and just took data analysis and said, all right, how long is a guy actually coaching corners at a particular school? It'd probably be 1.5, 1.7 years, And if you took another position, it'd probably be something similar, a little bit more, a little bit less. So those things, I get it. They're part of the process, but I think more and more as time goes on, players and families aren't going to tie themselves strictly to a position coach. I think that's a flimsy foundation, And when we bring in people, whether it be a student, intern, a volunteer, a coordinator, we are about getting it right, And getting it right is a lot more important to myself than getting it fast, especially with the way football works, when guys can actually be available, when they're allowed to talk, when they can get out of contract. So, the strategy that goes behind that, you'd like it to be in perfect alignment with recruiting. I don't think that's ever going to happen. So it still has to be about the principles and values of the head coach. And I think the people that are here did a very good job of making that very well known so that we can successfully recruit a class like this and take a leap like we have.
Hey, Mario. Manny Navarro with The Athletic. we saw the announcement for the spring football game. I think it was April 16th. Just curious, we get you to talk a little bit about spring football. Don't know if we'll get a chance to talk to you before then. So any guys that you know for sure coming off surgery or anything like that may not be available, and then maybe just what you're hoping to get out of it when it starts.
No, man, it's a good question. I think what we'll do is next week, we plan on having a lot of our hires, hopefully most of them, if not all of them, over the course of the next 7 days or so. And we'll arrange for a press conference to have those guys introduced, and talk a little bit about them. You guys obviously heard about Coach Steele. Super fired up about him. Just today is signing day, so we're not going to, segue into talking about Coach, but he is, certainly for us, something we're really happy about. But we'll talk about that. Some guys have had some postseason work. Other guys probably so limited to a certain extent. Other guys might get halfway through spring. So, those are things that are tough to deal with because it's not only spring ball, but like this time of year right now, the fourth quarter program, that's the game changer. And if I learned anything during Tuscaloosa time was that the fourth quarter program plays a massive role in the way guys develop because it changes the way that you move, the way you come out of your hips, the way you can accelerate and get out of difficult positions, your balance and body control, because even a guy that just got here maybe has to walk on, even that guy has to get better to earn a role on the team. And if we collectively get better at all those football movements, at our mentality, our togetherness, galvanizing this thing, it's critical. And right now, not having some of those guys, that ain't great. But we'll make do. We'll find a way to make it up with them when they are able to go, when they are healed up, even if it's in the summer. But you really can't skip the fourth quarter program and expect to have a great season. It just, I haven't seen it. And so we'll make sure that, we'll find a way to get it done with those guys.
Hey, Mario. Gary Furman, Canesport.com. The evolution of college football from a talent acquisition standpoint, I think you're utilizing it, if I'm not mistaken, more than you probably have at any time in your career when you talk about early signing, the transfer portal, late signing now, and you're even talking about what you might pick up over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months. It's almost NFL-like, year-round. Can you just talk about that and how that impacts how you build the program?
Well, I think you summed it up perfectly. It's year-round now. And as you have discussions like today, we had a coaches conference call with the ACC. We were running back and forth trying to get a guy committed, so I apologize for not being able to be there for all of it. But that was a big point of contention, is do we need to designate certain periods of time, not trying to limit people, but just trying to organize this a little bit better so that everyone knows what they have to do, because it does become a safety issue. It does become being able to practice, even to field a really good team. I mean, the issues are all over the place. And it's something that coaches probably have to, be held accountable to as well. Because if not, like right now, it truly feels a little bit like the Wild Wild West. Everyone keeps using the Wild Wild West. Everyone here is probably too young to remember the show, The Wild Wild West. Excellent show, but it describes it perfectly. Things were all over the place. So, you love the opportunity that it grants people, and at the same time, man, there's a little bit of an anxiety issue where it looked great, man, what a great spring session we had. We got a good team, we've got good depth, and all of a sudden next day, you try to go out and get an empanada on A Street and, half your roster is sitting in the portal. There's a lot of unknown right now, and there's not enough of a sample size to really judge. I would say, let me not use judge. There's not enough of a sample size to assess what's coming with this. What's the future going to look like? And what colleges are being affected the most? Is it the Power Fives? Is it the Group of Fives? How's it going to translate to some of the lower level schools as well? So I think if you just keep recruiting, you'll probably be okay. So, that's a message to the staff, or you probably can't work here,
Hey, Coach. Gabby Rudia, 24/7 Sports. You don't see a lot of head coaches sort of take such an active role in recruiting. I mean, I guess some do, but you don't see it a lot. Just at what point in your career did you sort of adopt that you were just going to be so hands-on with like the process of talent acquisition and, you know, with the high school kids and all that stuff? It seems like you're the one like driving. I know the other guys too, obviously, but.
Well, I enjoy it. You know, I always have enjoyed it. And I remember being a GA here, and I remember coaches leaving for opportunities that might have seemed, you know, brighter lights, and I don't know. But I remember they'd all end up coming by here, swinging by here, and saying, "Man, don't ever get it mistaken. You know, this game is about people, and not only the people that you have in the staff room, but your players. And their talent, of course, is taken into account, but your relationships with them they've got to be legit, because there is a fourth quarter to every game. And in the fourth quarter, you really show what you're about, right? So how high is the care factor? How intense is the bond? How badly do you refuse to lose because of your levels of care and love for your teammates? Respect, right? So I think you build that way early. You set a foundation during the recruiting process so you get to know people, deep dives into people. And you have agreements, not promises, you have agreements that when that young man arrives on your campus, this is a standard. This is how we're going to do it. If this happens, we're going to do that, blank, you know? And when all these things come together and you hold yourself to your word and guys have success, that's when, you know, they talk about magic. There's no magic. The hard work and all these things coming to fruition is truly what makes it, you know, a reality for successful teams. So I enjoy it. I really do. I enjoy it. I like getting out there. I like meeting families. We've had great moments, and I've had, you know, my tail kicked in a couple times, and just the appetite for it grows more and more and more over the years. And, you know, I think it's awesome. And, you know, the staff that we put together has to love it, you know, and they have to love the University of Miami as much as I do, or they better do a good job convincing me that they do. You know? So, no, it's an honor and a blessing to be able to go out there and give young men and their families an opportunity to get a free education, an opportunity to play football at the highest level, and an experience of a lifetime. So it's a blessing.
Marcus Benjamin, footballhotbed.com. Coach, I wanted to know, what were some of the position groups that you feel had the greatest need coming into the University of Miami, and do you feel like you addressed those position groups? Mm-hmm. And what were some of the challenges that you faced in the last 2 months recruiting in such a short period of time?
Well, I think challenges are just, again, short period of time. There's a lot of relationships down here due to time invested down here while being down here and while going away. So that part was a positive. Getting reacquainted with so many people was incredible. Having the elite prospect day was enormous for us. So many people came through. So many had a chance to sit down and talk and get to know one another. But I forgot entirely what your first question was. Can you give it to me again? I was reading the size of Inez Cooper, and I go, oh my Lord. So. Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry about that. But I think always the trenches, but without watching a team practice, it's hard to tell. I got to meet with each player one-on-one, literally sat down and spoke with each and every player on the team, and doing that with the rest of staff and personnel on these next 2 days. But I felt that if you, on paper, you know, you're at scholarship, you know, close to the limit with the amount of signees that we have, but that always changes, right? But felt that, you know, we probably have to address linebacker a little bit more. Want to see how, you know, how well we handle line of scrimmage and the physicality that goes with it, you know. And I know it looks like we have some guys that can make plays. They're really hard workers, watching the receivers and the DBs work. Really excited about them. I'm not sure how deep we are there. And, you know, you always want to pick up a guy that's a true playmaker out there, but we feel we have some as well. And so I have to get out there and watch ball to be able to assess that. But I think the way this thing lays out and the structure, who we've pulled in, you see that it's heavily tilted towards the line of scrimmage, a big every down back, right? a long, athletic tight end that could play in the core and play outside the core, a really, really talented quarterback, right, that can flat out go, a dynamic, right, in-state, local linebacker, some edge guys that can bring some heat, but are big enough to play the run. You know, so you filled in about right what you want for a college roster. Now you just want to see everybody play and see where the competition slides these guys.
We got two more. We're going to start with Susan, then we'll go to Adam.
Mario, it's Susan Miller-Degnan, Miami Herald. How much did it help you having that West Coast familiarity, and obviously being from here, you know, as far as recruiting went? And you think that will continue, you know, as you're here more?
Well, when I originally went out to the West Coast, that was one of the most appealing things. I felt like, you know, if you have to check boxes and become familiar with different regions, the West Coast was a box I hadn't checked yet. Now, I should have checked the map exactly first, because that's pretty far up there. But I think a couple things. Number one, at the University of Miami, you've got to win home base. And you got to win home base by making sure it's the right guys, difference makers, impact guys that want to get after it and do it the right way. And home base is the entire state of Florida, you know. And I love the old school state of Miami Coach Schnellenberger approach, which is fantastic. But you also have to cast a wide enough net, because you have the ability to go national and attract elite players, the best players in each and every state. You know, sometimes we forget in 2001 that the left tackle was down there in Philadelphia, right? South Jersey, and that the left guard was from Pennsylvania, and the center was from Detroit, Michigan, and the right guard, where's Shirko from? Iran, right? Shirko was like, he's like that wrestler from Parts Unknowns, Weight Unknown, he's one of those guys, right? And the right tackle was local, but Ken Dorsey was from California, you know, and Reggie Wayne was from Louisiana. So there's a mix, there's a blend. You hop on the other side of the ball, you had John Vilma right down the street, right? You know, you got Sean Taylor, rest in peace, right down the street, right? Philip Buchanan, upstate. Mike Rump, a little bit upstate. So it's the blend, it's a combination of the best of the best. And when you can do that and you don't have any cliques in the locker room, and you're attempting to bring a team together with culture, we feel it works better that way, because that's a reflection of what the world is. That's a reflection of an NFL locker room too, right? Different parts of the country, different shapes, different sizes. So, but it's helpful, because that's a lot of traveling. You know, we've done a lot of traveling, and you know, we've gotten to see a lot of people, meet a lot of people, and create some great relationships, and that will continue to grow with the off season as we have our camps, as we invite people to campus for clinics, as we make our way around the state and do our guest speaking. So, you know, lots of work to do. As we go around and talk, it's they're excited, but we also understand we have a lot of work to do.
We'll wrap up with Adam here.
Hi, Coach. Adam Lichtenstein from the Sun Sentinel.
No relation, huh?
No, surprisingly not. There's not a lot of us.
I always wondered that, man. But now you cleared it up for me.
No relation. But yeah, now that the 2022 class is basically wrapped up, how much are you looking forward to getting a chance to recruit these kids from the 2023 class, the 2024 class, and kind of have more time to, you know, a full cycle to recruit these kids?
Yeah, well, it's not wrapped up. I mean, it's not. I mean, there's still more pieces. There will be. And then 23, you catch up first, it'll be the first full cycle 1 year out. You want to be 2 years out. That's what you want to be. But there has been some crossover with some of the 23s that we had started on, you know, back at when we were at the other place as well. So, no, it is exciting, because now it's, you know, January, unless it's a situation like this, should not be a scramble. You know, this was like planes, trains, and automobiles now. And this was like, I was looking for John Candy at every corner, you know. And January should be dedicated to stopping at the schools and get your eyes on the next year's class, and maybe a couple more pieces, you know, or waiting on a premier piece. So that's when you're really rolling, you know, when that signing class is 90-95% done on the first go around, and now you are full throttle on the next one, you know. That's when. But to say I'm excited might be the understatement of the year.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach, for your time.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate you. excited, really, really excited. So go Canes.